I want to talk to you about Dele, and you told an unbelievable story in the break about Harry Kane, so we'll get to that in a moment. But what Dele Alli's saying that he's still thinking about the World Cup. What's your view on that? Because he's not really played for a year.
I'm glad he's thinking that way. Footballers are human beings as well, and nobody knows what goes on in people's individual lives. You never know what exactly is happening. I mean, I think he's proven that he has the quality. You have to also have the mentality to go along with it. I was with it, so we had signed him at Tottenham, and he was on loan, and he was back on loan, I think, MK Dons, and he would come in every now and again and train, and then when their season finished before ours, and then he came in and trained towards the end of the season, and that was the season that I retired. So I was with him a short space of time, but tremendous player, tremendous asset under Mauricio. He was one of the first names on the team sheet, and very, very good.
How important do you think that manager that puts the arm around him is for his development?
And when all the stuff came out, I was surprised. I had already retired, and I was back in the States at the time, so I didn't know like why he had a drop in form. I didn't know all this stuff that was going on in his personal life. What I do know about Mauricio is one of the very, very best in world football when he has his squad. When, just like I say this to Chelsea supporters all over the place, just let him change the technical side of the club. Let him run the club. You guys will be successful. There's been a lot of mistakes made at Chelsea, and you got to let him go and fix it. He's a very passionate man, very compassionate as well when he has his players. And I would imagine with what was going on with Dele felt very comfortable around Mauricio. And if he wasn't giving his all, or if he wasn't playing as well as he could, he knew that Mauricio would back him. So I think he had that. And when Mourinho came in, perhaps that wasn't there, and that's where the issues came in. But it just goes to show you have no idea what can affect the performance. It's not all about your ability.
Of course, he had a great relationship with Harry Kane. That relationship blossomed as the pair of them got better and better. Kane has gone on to be, for me, the best number 9 in the world. I know Holland will people argue with that, but an all-round footballer. I think technically, passing, he is not the quickest, but I never look at him and think he's slow. I think he's deceptively quick with the ball at his feet, but his all-round game, his technical finishing, heading, control, playing, bringing players in, I think he's probably the best out there in the world right now.
I would agree. When he was when I was finishing at Tottenham, and I was doing my coaching badge, so my UEFA B, A, and then pro license, and I think it was in between the B and the A. Harry was still sort of in the under 23 or under 21, I think it was back then, and coming into the first team. And we do a lot. I mean, he always wanted to stay after finishing all the time. And John McDermott, who I think is one of the very best youth developers in world football, and I think. And now he's the technical director of the FA. We came in after one of the trainings, and he said, "Who was good?" I said, "Kane." And he goes, "Anyone else?" I said, "No, Harry Kane." I said he's got the pace of Shearer's shot and the back lift of Fowler. So if you ever played as a goalkeeper, when you played against Robbie Fowler's back lift is about this much, and you don't have time to get your feet set, and the ball's by you before you even know. And he was so accurate with the corners, as we know from his own goal record. And Shearer, I don't even think Shearer looked up at the goalkeeper. He just smashed the ball, and if the goalkeeper could save it, and then fair play to him. Like that's how he, like when I played against him, it seemed like that's how he did his finishing. Kane was superb, and I wouldn't say they were questioning it, but I mean, he sat up in his chair and he wanted to know more about why a player who has played as many Premier League games just said that about one of his academy players, like where there may have been some questions, not if he's a good pro, not if he would have a professional career, but if he was going to be, as you just said, Jason, the best number 9 in the world. So
did you see any of that?
My God, yeah, you couldn't save it. Like you couldn't, if you were saving a shot, it was a great save. You weren't.
And have you seen that before at that level
with strikers?
Yeah.
Yeah, before Robbie Fowler had his ACL, he was in.
No, but I mean undeveloped. You're looking at Harry Kane that's not playing regular first team football, and you've come out and said, "Listen, he reminds me of Shearer, it reminds me of Fowler," and of course you've got that bang on. Have you seen that before? A young kid coming through.
Owen.
You saw that with Owen early on.
Yeah, he was young. I was at Liverpool, I think, with his first full season with the first team. He wasn't a finisher like Kane, but he was different. He was so fast. He would get into positions before goalkeepers could get set. And again, injuries plagued his career.
Yeah,
and I'm actually surprised that, like, when people talk about the great strikers in Premier League history, Owen's name doesn't get mentioned a lot. Like, they go over a lot of other players. Michael was brilliant to have Robbie Fowler and Michael at the same time, two completely different players, because Robbie was probably come deeper and was better on the ball than Michael. Michael could play on the edge and run across the line, and no one could catch him. But he was probably another one at the young, raw stages that you just knew he was going to be brilliant.
You know, the problem we got, Brad Friedel, is I've got you for another 15 minutes. I'm thinking, I don't think 15 hours is going to be enough.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.